Hello everyone, Phoenix Knight here. Welcome to the channel, and welcome to a new playthrough on the channel. After we paid a visit to the Call of Adventure universe last week via Call to Adventure Epic Origins, we're going to head up to Mars to debut Terraforming Mars, the dice game from Stronghold Games. When I first heard that this was a dice game, I was alarmed that the dice in this game would control the actions. As we'll see in the course of the game, that didn't end up happening, and I probably would have passed on the game if that ended up happening. As is usual in this file of games, our goal is to terraform Mars for human life. And in the solo mode, we need to clear all three. We need to get the oxygen up to 16%, get the temperature up to 8 degrees Celsius, and put out 7 ocean tiles on the board. We'll see that we've got a little bit of a start on those parameters when we get over to the board, but actually, let's head over there next and we'll finish setting up the game. As we can see, the board starts off with an ocean out, a city, and a forest tile. So we've already got one of the 7 ocean tiles placed out. The temperature starts off at minus 28 degrees Celsius, and the oxygen starts off at 2%. We'll gain the rewards on each of the tracks when we get to them. So the first one will give us a green die. And then we'll have 2 thresholds where we get a red die on that face and then 2 blue dice at the 2 water face when we get up to 0 degrees Celsius. The bonuses are for when we place tiles on the board. Then we've got the victory point track around here. We're using yellow as our turn tracker. We'll be doing everything in red. So first we need to set up the awards at the top of the board. Those 3 dice are icons that we have to have in our cards that we've played to be able to score points at the end of the game. They're based on the rarity of the symbol on the dice. So that's steel. What is that? That's titanium and microbe are both uncommon symbols, as we see on the overview on the player aid. So for those 2, we need 8 of those symbols. And then the O2 symbol, the oxygen symbol, is actually rare. So we need 6 of those to be able to score the 5 victory points for each of those. If we're 1 away, then we score 3 victory points. We've also got these 3 milestones down here. So we'll take a look at these. These will actually also go away during the course of the game. I believe at 17 we'll pull the first one, turn 21 we'll pull the second, and turn 25 we'll pull the third one. So this is the first milestone that we could possibly get. Monopoly, which that represents having 7 resources of the same color, so we'll need to accumulate dice quickly. Next milestone, which will go away after turn 21. Actually, is that at or after? I believe that's... I want to say that's at. Okay, so this one will go away at turn 21. Billionaire, having 13 resources of any type. Then for the last milestone, legend, which means 6 red cards in play. Well, I'll point a little bit more out about that when we actually take a look at our starting hand. But we also need we need a bonus card as well. So actually we'll do that after we finish setting our stuff up. So we have 2 corporations to choose from. And I won't choose these until we choose our corporation until we see our starting hand. So first corporation that we have to choose from is Phobolog, which would give us 3 titanium dice right away and 4 wild cards. Anything in this brown background is production that we take when we take a production turn, and I'll explain how that will work when we get into it. So on production, we would get a red and a blue die if we take Phobolog. Our other corporation to choose from is Tharsis Republic, which would give us a city right away and 3 wild cards. Wild cards can be spent for any type of resource. We'd get a green and a gray die on production. So now let's take a look at our starting hand. First up we have Ice Cap Melting, which costs 2 red Cs and an event tag. I believe that's heat, isn't it? Yes, 2 heat and an event die. If we place that down, we get to place an ocean and we get a water die. Next card up is a donation which requires 2 mega credits and an event, just giving us 3 points. That's probably not something we're going to want to keep. Standard technology for a mega credit, a science, an earth, and what is that? That's an energy tag, which is a free action. We can change a die to any face that we want, but we can only use that once per production phase, essentially. So we'd have to take a production turn to get that refreshed. Then we've got regolith processors. I'm actually going to back up in a second. Taking a science, a microbe, and a heat, giving us a blue die on production. Now, remember one of the milestones that we had was to get 6 red cards in play. That's looking at the color on top of the card, so this band. We need 6 of these to get the legend. We need 6 of those to get the legend milestone. Last card up is a mining expedition, taking an energy, a steel, and an event, which would let us raise the oxygen and get us 2 gray dice let us get 2 gray dice and a 1-off. So what do I even want at this point? Question is, what corporation do I want to take? I think I'm going to take Phobog, honestly. So I get 3 gray dice on steel tags, which is actually very good for us, because that will let us that'll let us work toward the Monopoly. Actually, that'll let us work toward all 3 of them. We also get 4 wild cards, which again, we can spend these for any type of resource that we need. Then we get a red and a blue die as initial production. So we'll roll these, and these will be resources that we add to our pool. Giving me, what's hidden back there? An energy and an event tag. The event tag could actually be helpful because I've got a couple of cards that are going to take that. Then we get to look at our bonus cards. So we get 1 of these to start the game. First bonus card we have to choose from is Researcher as a free action to just draw a card. That could be very helpful. Next card up is a networking expert to give us an extra gold die as a production, or yellow. Next up, building expert, which would give us a gray die on production, and another asteroid, which would let us just raise the temperature, and we'd score 2 points for that immediately. So which bonus do I want right away? I think I'm going to take the Researcher, because the free action to draw a card seems like it's going to be very useful this game. We'll earn additional bonuses when we get to 5 and 12 points on the victory point track. So, with that, I think we're all set to get into this game. So I'll try to explain things as I'm going through it, but let's jump right in and see what we can do with Terraforming Mars. On your turn, you can take either a production turn or an action turn. We're going to be taking a few action turns here. You'll start off with a support action, which will let you take a die, or you can spend a resource to flip 1 to any face, or spend a resource to draw 2 cards. Then you'll take a main action, which could be playing a card, taking another support action, spending 3 heat to increase the temperature, 3 water to put down an ocean, 4 plants to put down a forest and gain an oxygen, 3 cities to place a city, and 3 mega credits to get 2 victory points. I'll explain how a production turn works when we get into that. Then looking at our hand, yikes. I think I will take a 7 of any color. I could take a couple of gray dice to try to get what I want, but I don't think I want to do that. So I'm going to take a red die, which will roll this and we'll gain the resources into our pool. Maybe bring the dice tower into shot just a little bit. That should work. See if I can put a light on at least some of them. Let me turn it that way. Stay together. There we go. There's a bit of glare coming from that side, but probably no help for it. There's a heat. That's not entirely unwelcome. And I think I'll take advantage of that, actually. I'll spend the heat, the event, and one of my wild cards is another heat to play Ice Cap Melting. That'll be my first red card, which will give me an ocean tile and a water. So I'll get a water die, and I'll place an ocean tile. I can put it down on any blue space that's reserved for ocean. And I think looking at my hand right now, it's largely, well, I would say it's not complete garbage. I'm not very happy with it, though. I'm not going to lie about that. I will get 2 victory points, though, for putting down an ocean. And I think I'm going to put this down. I'm going to put it down here. 2 points for terraforming, I believe. Since I'm putting an ocean down. I want to make sure I don't get any extra victory points other than that. Okay, no. So because I put it down over a space that has 2 green dice, I get the green dice immediately. So I'll roll and add those to my pool as well. Two microbes, which I'm not completely happy with, but I can probably work with it. Then into turn 2 now. Let's take a yellow die. That's an earth, which isn't completely unwelcome, since I do have an energy as well. And I will take another yellow, I think. I'm going to try to play out standard technology to get myself a free action. That's another earth face. That's not completely what I wanted to see. Turn 3, I'll start off by taking a free action with my researcher to draw a card, so I will draw. Giant Space Mirror, needing a science, an energy, and 2 titanium, which would give me 2 blue dice on production. That's actually... I could probably work with that, actually. So I'm going to take a yellow die, because I want to see if I can pay for this naturally, and I need a science to be able to play it, but I've got a few wild cards if I need to. If I need to use one. Or I just roll the science naturally. That works too. Then I'll pay the science, the energy, and 2 of my titanium to play out the giant space mirror I just drew. So I'm going to put my production... where do I want my production? I'll bring those off shot because I will need to reference those. I'll put the production over on this side just to keep it separate. Turn 4 now. I've got a couple microbes. I'll take a red die. That's an event. Does that help me at all? It does a little bit, but I need to replenish my hand a bit. That's actually not terrible. I'll take a yellow. That's a mega credit, which is far from unwelcome here. I could use so that's actually turn 5 now. Looking at my hand right now, I could use a couple of wild cards to get this standard technology out. Energy tag is common on blue dice. So I think I'm going to take a blue die. There's an energy. That's exactly what I wanted there. Actually, yeah, I think we'll stick with the plan. So we'll pay this, take a wild card and an energy, and we'll play out standard technology, which will give me the free action to change a die to any face I want it to be. Let's see, this would cost me my last... Well, okay, so we're into turn 6 now. I'm going to take a... Let's take a red die, actually. I'm more likely to get the heat that I need on that than I would be on the... than I would be to roll a science on a yellow die, and I can use a wild card to pay the science if I need to. That's a nuclear tag. That's even more annoying, because I'm not doing much with nuclear tags right now. And I'll take another red. Okay, there's the heat tag. Now, there's the heat I was looking for. Alright, so turn 7 now. I'm going to pay the nuclear to draw 2 more cards, because that's one of the main actions, or that's a support action I can do. So first card I draw is Lichen, which requires a plant, a microbe, and a heat, but it gives me a green die on production. And Food Factory, which takes 2 plants and a steel, I believe that is. Yes, that's a steel, which would give me a gold die on production. Okay, so with the... Okay, so I'll pay a wild card, a microbe, and a heat. I'll use the microbe, or the wild card, as a science to play Regolith Processors, which will give me another blue die on production. I think my next order of business is going to be getting some green production going on. So for turn 8, I'm going to take a green die because I'm looking for the plant. Which that'll work. And then I'll spend the plant, the microbe, and my last wild card using it as a heat to play Lichen, which will give me a green die on production. So I'm already getting some production going on here, which on turn 9, I'm actually going to take my first production turn. So the way a production turn works is you're going to discard all dice over 3, and looking at my hand, I think the only thing I'm okay losing right now is the Earth tag. So I'll lose that. I'll discard as many cards as I want. I'm going to bin the donation, because that's all that is 3 victory points right now. That's not helping me with my Terraforming Mars goal. As for the rest of it, I think we're going to keep it and draw 3 new cards. So we'll draw 3 cards from the deck. That'll draw up to 5. First up is farming for a plant, a water, and 2 heat tags to give me another green die of production and 1 victory point. The victory points actually won't matter until we get to the end of the game, assuming we're successful at terraforming Mars. Next up, Lake Marineris, which takes a mega credit, 2 water, a steel, and 2 heat. But it lets you put down two oceans. Next up and last, a comet, which takes a mega credit, a water, a steel, a heat, and an event, which lets you bump the temperature and put an ocean tile down. I'll take a standard action. I'll take a free action here to... Actually, do I want to change a face right now? I don't actually think I do, so... Yeah, never mind that plan. I'm not going to change anything right now. I think we're just going to leave it as is. So, now we take production, which will be 1, 2, 3, a total of 4 blue dice. So 4 blue, a green, and a red. So we've got 6 dice in there to roll for production. That was a pretty rubbish production, actually. But I can probably... I may have to do some resource conversion, but I can probably work with this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 3, 6, 9. Okay, just counting up how many dice I have. So heading into turn 10... I think, well, we've got the 2 water if I'm going to start saving for Lake Marineris, but I may not have time for that. I do have a couple options, though, so I'm going to take a yellow die. That's a science, which I don't think helps me all that much right now. It doesn't. I'm actually going to take I'm actually pretty close to Monopoly right now. That's 7 resources of... I believe that's 7 dice resources of the same color. So I'm actually going to take a blue, mostly so I can get to that. Because I only need a couple more. Actually, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's another energy tag, which I'm not that happy with right now, because energy doesn't really do much of anything for me. Turn 11. I think 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. I think we'll take a red. That's a heat. That's far from unwelcome here. And then I will spend a... I don't really want to spend, actually, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. If I take one more die now, which I'm going to take a gray, that'll get me to 13 resources, so I can at least claim the billionaire tile. That's another titanium tag, but 13 will immediately give me the billionaire tag. Turn 12, and I'm very much not making a lot of headway here, but sometimes that's just how it goes in the Terraforming Mars universe. Actually, I just realized something. Now I could probably get the comet out, because I've got the heat, the event, a water, a steel... I'll spend an energy to change this to a mega credit, and then I'll pay that to play a comet, which will let me raise the temperature up a step. It'll give me a Celsius tag, so it'll give me that one back, and then I get to place an ocean tile, which I'll put... What do I need right now? So technically, that was a nuclear tag. These would go back. I technically paid the heat, but I just kept it because the temperature bumping gave me that back. And then the ocean can go... The ocean can go here, because I could use a couple more plants. I could use a couple more green dice. I almost have the Monopoly, too, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. In fact, I gotta pick that up pretty quickly. There's 2 more microbes. That's not great, but it's not completely unrecoverable. Moving into turn 13. I think I'll take a blue die. We've got no cards whatsoever with the oxygen tag in them in their cost. That's another energy, which is really doing not much for me right now. I'll just take another blue so I can at least get the Monopoly tag. All right, so that gives me 2, 4... Oh no, that leaves me 1 blue short. But I won't be 1 blue short for long. Turn 14. I'll take a free action to change one of these to a water face, because I'll need that for Lake Marineris. Then I will take a blue, which will give me the Monopoly tag, so I don't have to worry about legend for a while. There's another energy. That keeps wanting to come up. But that does give me the monopoly tag as well. Then I'm going to spend an energy to change this nuclear into a heat tag. Turn 15. I'm going to take a mega credit, or I'm going to take a yellow die. I'm hoping for a mega credit roll. There's the mega credit roll that we needed. And what do we need? We need a steel, so I'll take a... Oh wait, because we put down 2 ocean tiles, I should have 4 more points, and I'll look at another bonus. So I think this time we're going to grab the building expert, so I can get some gray production going on. Alright, so we took that, and speaking of gray, I'm going to take a gray die for my main action. Perfect. There's the steel I needed. So that will let me play out Lake Marineris next turn. Turn 16. Looking at setting up, I'm going to take a green die. Plant, which is not unwelcome. Then I've got enough. I've got a mega credit, 2 water, a steel, and 2 heat. Going back to their respective supplies. Oop. Helps you put it in the right supply, Phoenix. To play Lake Marineris, which will let me put down 2 ocean tiles and give me a victory point, which will give me 4 more points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then where do I want these? I'll put... What do I even need right now? Can I change to something I can use? Yes, I can, actually. I can change some of those green dice out. So I'll put these 2 both down here, so I can change 2 of these microbes into plants. Turn 17, where we'd remove the milestone, except we already claimed the monopoly, which was up here. We need, what is it, 4 plants? Yes, it's 4 plants to put down a forest tile and raise the oxygen. Although I've got options on that front. Let's take a red, which will give me an event. And I will take I'll spend an energy to change this titanium into a steel tag. Turn 18. Let's spend this energy to change this into a plant. And I'll spend these 4 plants to put down a forest tile, which are back up here, of course. Then where the forest tiles go is I place it on an area on the board and gain 1 VP per adjacent city, increasing oxygen 1 step, which also gives me 2 points. I'm going to put this down here, which will give me a total of 3 points. I think I should have been here. 1, 2, 3, which will bring me up to 14 points. It'll give me a red die, which is another event tag, not very good. And then looking at the bonuses, I get this will be the last bonus I'll get for the game. The other one can go back. And I think I want another asteroid. So that'll let me bump the temperature another step and give me another 2 points. I think we have turn 19, and then I'll need to take a small break. What to do? I think here we're actually going to take a production turn. So right now, I want to get rid of... Actually, I could use some energy, so I'm going to get rid of this energy and one of my event tags. I just looked at my hand and I realized I can play one of my cards naturally. Alright, so I think we'll keep that card for sure. And I'll dump the other 2 to draw 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. First card we find. small animals for an animal and an oxygen tag. That's only something during the multiplayer game. Every player would lose a green die, every other player. You'd get an animal die and 1 victory point. Next up, Business Empire, 2 Earth and 2 City, to give you 2 gold dice on production and 1 victory point at the end of the game. Then, GHG producing bacteria, taking a science, a microbe, and an oxygen. As a main action, I could spend a microbe to raise the temperature 1 step. That could be busted. 2 victory points there. And Tectonic Stress Power, 2 mega credits, science, energy, and nuclear, 2 blue dice on production. Then I'll take my production, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 blue dice, 4 blue, a green, a gray, and a red. Not a very good production. 2 energy, an oxygen, a water, an animal, a titanium, and a nuclear tag. Then we'll unflip these, and then I need to take a small break. Also, I should have bumped the oxygen up from putting down the forest, I believe. Yes. That's where I got the extra 2 points from, and a green die. Now that I remembered that, I get another plant from that, which is not great. But turn 20 now coming up. I think I'm going to take a... Actually, I could play... I don't want to play small animals, though. I'm going to take a yellow die, which will give me a science tag. So that'll open up my options a little bit. And I'm going to pay the energy, steel, and event to play out a mining expedition, which will let me raise the oxygen another step, which will give me 2 points, and I get 2 gray dice. Let's see what we get from the mining expedition. 2 steel, which isn't great, but it's probably workable. That's 1 more. I need 1 more red card to get to legend. And I do have it, and I can play it if I want to, but I'm not completely sure I do. Turn 21, I'm going to take a green die. There's the microbe I needed. This is why I was kind of hesitating on playing the small animals. But I'm going to instead spend the microbe, the science, and the oxygen to play GHG producing bacteria. I can spend a microbe to raise the temperature, and it's worth 2 VP at the end of the game, but that's only as a main action that I can do that. Turn 22, I'll start off by using Researcher to draw a card. So I will draw Ironworks, taking an energy, a steel, and a heat. I can spend an energy as a main action to raise the oxygen. Ooh, with as much blue production as I've got, I might want to get that into play. So I'm going to spend a steel to change this nuclear to a heat. Then I have the energy, the steel, and the heat to play out the Ironworks. So once a production phase, I can spend an energy to raise the oxygen. That'll be very useful. Turn 23. I still could play out the small animals, and I think I will actually. So I'll spend the plant to change this into an oxygen, and then I'll spend the animal and the oxygen to play out small animals, which technically will give me the animal right back. But more importantly, it'll give me the legend milestone as well. So if I'm able to terraform Mars, I can get that. Then we'll move into turn 24. I'll use that to turn this animal into a microbe. Then I'll take a blue die. That's another oxygen tag. But I'll spend the microbe to GHD producing bacteria as my main action to bump the temperature, give me another 2 points and a heat die. All right, turn 25. Good thing we went and grabbed a legend, or else the AI would have it right now. I'm going to take a blue die. Actually, yeah, we're going to take a blue die. That's an energy which I'll immediately spend to Ironworks to increase the oxygen, which will give me another 2 points. Then turn 26. I think I'm going to take a production turn, actually, here. So I'm going to discard the... None of these dice are particularly helpful for me right now. I'm going to... Either the dice or the cards. I'll discard the water. Then I'll discard my hand and draw 5 fresh cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. First card up. Deep well heating. For a water, a steel, and a heat. Raise the temperature and give me 2 energy. That could be very useful. Next up. Convoy from Europa. For a water, a titanium, and an event. Letting me place down an ocean and 1 victory point at the end of the game. Next up. Commercial District. For a mega credit and a city, I can spend a mega credits to change 3 dice to any face I want. Then a mine, taking a mega credit, a steel, and a nuclear to get a gray production. And aquifer pumping, water and an ocean and 2 steel. Spend a steel to place an ocean down. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's 5 cards. I take my production. I get 4 blue, 3, 4, a green, a gray, and a red. And let's see what I get here. Okay, that's not completely terrible. So we've got an event, 2 water, an energy, I don't remember what face that was on, so we'll go with the titanium, an oxygen, and a plant, which will immediately unexhaust all of these. Then heading into turn 27. Okay, I'm going to water, steel, event. Okay, so I can actually play that naturally. That's the convoy from Europa that I'm looking at, and I'm probably going to be playing that next turn. Or this turn. That just needs a steel to get to that. That's tempting. I'll put that to the side as probably being... This is going to need a couple steel, but that still might be very good. I think I'm going to take a gray die to start the turn. That's a city. I'm not particularly happy to see that. But first on the agenda will be the water, the titanium, and the event. To play out the convoy from Europa, which will give me another ocean tile and another 2 points. And I think I want this down over a green so I can try to get a useful tag. That's a plant that could be useful-ish, but not terrible, I don't think. Turn 28. I'm going to spend this city. Actually, no, I'm going to spend a plant to change this city into a steel. Then I'll pay the ocean, the steel, and the heat for deep well heating, which will bump the temperature and give me 2 energy. So bump the temperature, give me another 2 points, and give me 2 energy. I might have given myself 1 too many there. I think I was on 24 there. But I know it's turn 29 now. Looking at my hand, I'm going to take a gray... do I want the gray? There's only 1 ocean tile left. There might not be a point to bothering with that now. I think I'm going to take a... I'm actually going to exhaust the researcher to draw a card, so I will draw. greenhouses, which needs a plant, a city, and a heat. Which gives me I believe, 2 green dice on any face and 1 victory point at the end of the game. Yep. Okay, so 2 green resources. I think with that in mind, I'm going to take a green die. Getting a plant, which isn't particularly helpful, but I will spend an energy to Ironworks as my main action, which will bump the oxygen up to 10%, giving me 2 points and 2 heat. Turn 30. I'll actually take a gray die, see if I can get to a city. Which I can't do, but I could discard... I think I will discard a titanium to change that to a city. That way I can play out greenhouses next turn and set up for more work on the temperature. Heading into turn 31. Let's take a green. That's a microbe, so that gives me options. But I will spend the microbe to GHG producing bacteria to raise the temperature again, which will give me another 2 points. Turn 31. I'll take a red. Getting a nuclear tag, which is not completely unwelcome. But I'm going to pay the plant, the city, and the heat to play out greenhouses, which will give me 2 green resources, which will give me 2 of any green resource. I think I want a plant and a microbe. All right, turn 33. I'll take a green die, which is another plant. I'll actually use my standard technology to change that to a plant. I was initially going to save that for next turn, but I don't think I'm going to. I think instead I'm going to spend the 4 green to put another forest tile out. And where do I want this? I think I want this over here so I can get 3 more points. 2, 3, and draw a card. So I will draw. Protected Valley, needing a plant, a water, and a steel. Place a forest on a space reserved for ocean. Alright, heading into turn 33 now. All my blue cards are used up. I don't think I have anything that's particularly useful right now. Unless I want to take a... I think I'm going to produce, actually, so I can try to get some of this stuff, some of this junk out of my hand. So I'm going to discard the 2 oxygen and a nuclear tag. Let's see. The aquifer pumping's useless because I'll be getting... because I can probably get to the last ocean soon enough, and I'm going to be drawing at least 3 cards this turn, I think. Commercial district can go because I don't have any yellow production to make that worthwhile. Mine can go, and I'll keep the Protected Valley because I could stand to get more forests out, and I'll draw 4 cards. 2, 3, 4. First card up is a biogas experiment for a science, a microbe, and an event. Raise the temperature and get a wild card. Next up, Domed Crater, needing a mega credit, an energy, an oxygen, and a city. Get a plant, a city, and 1 victory point at the end of the game. Next up, Regolith Eaters, needing a science and 2 microbes. Raise the oxygen and get 2 oxygen dice. And Plantation, for a mega credit, a science, and a plant. Place a forest tile. All right, then we take Production, which is 4 blue, a green, a gray, and a red. Yep, looks like everything's in there. Okay, that's not completely unwelcome. We've got 2 ocean, 2 energy, a heat, a city, and a microbe. And we'll exhaust all of these. Or unexhaust all of those. Turn 35. I'm going to grab a... I'll grab a yellow die, which will become a mega credit. That's welcome. Let's see, that's mega credit, energy, oxygen, and city. I'll spend an energy, though, to bump the oxygen up. So we'll bump that up to 12%. Turn 36. Let's take a blue die. Assuming I don't get an energy out of this. Well, actually, yeah. Assuming I don't get an energy out of this, I'll have options. That's a water, so that actually opens up my options a little bit. That would let me place my last ocean. Place the last ocean tile. And I think that's what we're going to go with. So we're going to spend the 3 water to place the last ocean tile, and I'm going to put this here, which will give me 2 points and a blue die. Another water. So now all 7 oceans have been placed, which is one of the 3 parameters we need to finish the game. Turn 37. I think we're going to take a... What do we need for that domed crater? We need an oxygen. So I'm going to take a blue die. That's an energy. But I'll spend the microbe to GHD producing bacteria to raise the temperature again and get 2 more points. That's my main action. Turn 38. I'm going to take a blue die again. That's a water. I'll use my standard technology to change one of the water into an oxygen. Then I have mega credit, oxygen, city, or energy, city, and oxygen. To play a domed crater, which will give me a plant, a city, and 1 victory point at the end of the game. So there's the plant. The city, I believe, can't go adjacent to another city, right? Not adjacent to another city. Okay, so I'll put that down. I'll put that down here, actually, to give me a wild card. But that will also give me, that should be 3 victory points because there's a forest adjacent. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm up to 40 victory points. Domed crater goes there. Turn 39 now. I'm going to take a free action to draw a card. So I will draw. Ecological zone. Needing a plant, a microbe, an animal, and an oxygen. Place that next to a forest and get 3 victory points at the end of the game. I've got the plant already. The wild card could turn into anything. Let's take a red die. That's a heat, and I can spend 3 to bump the temperature again, which would give me 2 more blue dice, and I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'll use those to raise the temperature, give me 2 water dice, and bump myself up 2 more points. Turn 40, we're heading down to the nitty-gritty of it, and I still need to raise the oxygen 2 more steps and the temperature 2 more steps to win the game. So I think with that in mind, I'm going to take a yellow die. I think I've got at least a couple cards in here that can help me toward that goal. Yeah, I'll take a yellow die. That's a science. That's not completely unwelcome. Yeah, I think we'll go with the wild card, plant, and science. I'll use the wild card as a mega credit to play out a plantation, which will let me put down another forest tile, which will let me put that down right here. Do I score? Okay, place a force tile on an area on the board and gain 1 victory point for each adjacent city. So I'll put that down. Do I need gray dice right now? I could use... I'm actually just going to put it down here to give me another card. So that'll give me 3 more points. 1, 2, 3. And draw me a card. So I will draw... Urbanized area. Mega credit, energy, and city placed next to another city. So that actually lets me violate the rules for that. And I took my 2 points for that. Turn 41 now. Wait. Okay, I drew the card for that. Actually, I think I'm going to take a production turn because I've got a lot of useless blue dice here. So I'm going to discard the 3 water dice. What in my hand do I not want? I can keep that. I've got enough ways to increase the oxygen. I'll probably keep that. Then I'll discard these 3 and draw 3 cards. So 1, 2, 3. First card up. Martian Zoo, an earth and an animal tag to get me a gold die, a yellow die. Then Artificial Lake, which is El Hot Garbaggio, takes a plant, a water, and a steel. Placed on an area not reserved for ocean. And biomethane, taking a plant, or an animal and a microbe, raise the temperature. Now I take production, which once again is 4 blue, a green, a gray, and a red. That's not a great production. That's 3 more energy. That'll probably be discard fodder to change dice. A plant, a nuclear, and a steel. All of this will refresh. I'm probably going to have to take 1 more production, though, just to get through this. So turn 42, I'll discard 1 of these energy to change that into a microbe. And then I'll spend an energy to Ironworks to increase the oxygen by 1 step, which will give me 2 more points. Turn 43, I will take a... Well, I know that's total garbage. I'll take a green die. That's a microbe, so that gives me some options, which means I can actually hold on to a microbe. So I'll discard 1 of my microbes to GHG-producing bacteria and increase the temperature, which will give me 2 more points. Turn 44, I may need to take a production earlier than I want to, just to make sure I finish. I'm going to take a green die. That's a plant, which I will then change to an animal. I'm using standard technology to do that. Then my main action, I'll pay the animal and the microbe to play biomethane, which will let me raise the temperature the last step. So I'm up to 51 points. And before I go into turn 45, I need to take a small break. Alright, this should take us right into the end of the game. So we're on turn 45. I'm going to take a green die, which will become a plant, and I think that's enough. Yep, that is enough. Plant, steel, ocean. That'll be enough to play Protected Valley, so I can place a forest in an area reserved for ocean. Question is, where do I want this forest? Can I get it? I can't get it adjacent to a city, and I think the only area reserved is up here that draws a card, which will actually bump the oxygen, giving me 2 more points. And now I have met all 3 criteria, but we're still going to play it out because I might be able to get more victory points. So I will draw... World Government Plantation, World and a plant tag, which lets me place a forest but loses me a victory point at the end of the game. That is also El Hot Garbaggio. Okay, turn 46 is what we're heading into. I'm separating out the garbage already. I'll start off with a free action to draw a card, so I will draw... World Government Greenhouse Gases, taking a world and a heat. Raise the temperature. if you meet a terraforming parameter while it's maxed out, you still get 1 point for it, but no additional benefits. I think I'm going to take a production turn. I want to get some of this garbage out of my hand. So we'll discard the nuclear and 2 energy. And let's see. Those 2 are garbage. That one's garbage. Garbage. And we'll keep the urbanized area just in case I'm able to get to it quickly. And then we'll draw 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4. First card up. Industrial Microbes, which is 2 microbes, an energy, and a steel. As a free action, you just get any resource you want. Next up, that's a free, right? Yes, it's a free action. It's a bit hard to see in this light, but that is a free action. Next up, Predators, which takes a mega credit, 2 animals, and an oxygen. Other players lose a green die, and you get 3 victory points. Next up, Snow Algae, taking a plant, a microbe, and a water, giving you a red production. And Giant Ice Asteroid, taking a mega credit, a water, an energy, a titanium, and 2 event. Each player would lose a green resource. Each other player would lose a green resource. Raise the temperature, place an ocean, get a heat, and an ocean die. Then we take production, which once again... I should have had 1 more die, and I think it was... We'll keep the nuclear. So 4 blue, a green, a gray, and a red. A titanium, another nuclear, a microbe, a water, and 3 more energy. And we'll unexhaust all of this. Turn 47, I'm going to take a yellow die. That's a mega credit. I'll use my free action on standard technology to change that titanium to a city. Then I've got mega credit, energy, and city to play urbanized area, which lets me place a city next to another city. You're normally not able to do that, but this card says you can. So the only city I can put it in one of 2 spaces, but I'm going to put it here, which will give me, I believe that's 4 points. Yep. So 2 points for placing the city, plus 2 for 2 adjacent forests. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I'll take the gray die, which will give me a steel. Not that useful here. And right now it's just all about getting as many points as I can find. So, turn 48. I think I'll take a green die. Plant, and I'll spend an energy to Ironworks to raise the oxygen, which will give me another 1 point. Turn 49, I'll take a green. That's an animal tag. That's not completely unwelcome. And I'll spend an energy, or not an energy, I'll spend a microbe. I'll spend a microbe to GHG, that's an animal. I'll spend a microbe to GHG producing bacteria to raise the heat, to raise the temperature by 1 step, but I get 1 point since that's maxed out. Turn 50, this is the last turn of the game. I definitely can't get to predators. What the hell, we'll gamble on research or see if we can draw a card, so we will draw Gene Repair, which is a science, a microbe, and a nuclear to get 1 victory point, and a gold die on a yellow die on production. Let's see, what do we even want here? I don't think we can get to anything that will do much for VP right now, so I will take a... I guess because why not? I'll take a green and a yellow. And that was a plant and a mega credit. But at turn 50, after turn 50, the game ends. So let's move into end game scoring. Looking at the awards, I don't think I'm going to score for any of them. That titanium is an uncommon, and I needed at least 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope, I'm short on that one. Not a surprise there. Microbe, I needed 6 as well. I'm probably even shorter there. 1, 2, 3. 3. Yep, I didn't make that. Then oxygen, I needed 6 because that's a rare, but I'm pretty sure 1, 2, 3. So I played 3 oxygens, but I didn't get to any of those awards. Each milestone tile is worth 4 victory points. I picked up all 3, so that's worth another 12. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then we total victory points from cards played during the game. So 2, 3, 4. I'm going to pull everything out so I can count them all up. That one, and that one. So I picked up another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That gives me a total of 79 victory points, which actually isn't a bad victory. So if we look on our scale, the score I get for 79 victory points is getting the hang of this. I actually kind of am getting the hang of this, but that's it for this playthrough of Terraforming Mars, the dice game. I really did enjoy this game, especially the solo mode. It actually plays, as you can probably see, very quickly. A lot quicker than I expected. Those 2 times I had to take a small break came up a lot quicker than I was expecting them to, but just goes to show how once you get into the flow of the game, everything flows very quickly and very well. So, that, as I said, that will do it for this playthrough of Terraforming Mars, the dice game. New Game November continues on the channel for the next couple of weeks. Sunday we're debuting Expeditions from Stonemaier Games, and Wednesday we're debuting Night Fighter Ace from Compass Games, our first Compass game on the channel. Thank you for watching the video. Please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to turn on notifications so you get my content. Be well, stay safe, take care of yourselves and your loved ones, and I'll be back with more videos in the future. Until then, take care everyone.